everybody, I hope you're well. I thought I would do an update on current things just really quickly before I start doing the massive mega big backlog of updates, which is long overdue. So last Thursday, I can't remember if I mentioned this in my last post, but I had a really quick operation done. Would have been done under local anaesthetic if it hadn't been for my Ehlers-Danlos loss, which of course makes me insensitive to local anaesthetics. So because of that, they did it under general anaesthesia. And the reason I'm wearing my hair differently and parted like this and kind of plaited back at the moment is that the surgery was to remove 2 cysts that were growing on my scalp. And one of which was about 5 or 6 centimeters, and the other one only about maybe 1 or 2. It was quite small. And I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to try and show you anyway. There's a picture just here. You can see the stitches just at the bottom, and then also, so there's one set here, and then kind of another set where it's dark just there. So that's what's going on under this side of my head, healing at the moment, which is why I've braided up this bit, because I don't want to be brushing that part of my hair and accidentally pulling on it, because it'll pull where the stitches are and probably really hurt. So I thought that would be best to just leave it alone for a few days. While I was under general anaesthesia, one of the things that they did was to insert a catheter and drain my bladder, just to make sure that I didn't have any poor reactions with the anaesthesia drugs. They must have done that a little bit roughly, because on Saturday I started getting really, it was getting really quite painful to try and self-catheterize. Now, my continence nurse had advised me to go to hospital, basically, if this happened, and get them to put an indwelling catheter in, which is what I did. And it took about 4 hours sitting there on my own, pretty miserable, and I kept asking them if they would help with any additional pain relief, because obviously I'm on long-term pain medication because of my Ehlers-Danlos joint pain and because of the pain I get from my gastroparesis and the bloating from intestinal dysmotility and SIBO and all that kind of stuff. So I'm on the buprenorphine patch that you change weekly, which I've actually just done this morning. And the other problem is that because I've got mild dysphagia, which is problems swallowing, so pills get stuck really easily if I try and swallow them, and things often go down the wrong way, like more often than they would do for an average healthy person. So I said to them, I really need this to be in liquid form if possible. And they kept going away and coming back and going away and coming back. And I said to them about 4 or 5 times, I'm on paracetamol at the moment, in addition to my buprenorphine. It's liquid paracetamol. I already have it. It's already one of the things that I can get on my prescriptions. I don't need this. What I need is something a bit stronger. And they just kept coming back, and one time they came back with tablets and tried going, oh, but look, they're really small. No, that's still not okay. That's not, I've told you that this is not something that's going to work for me. And then in the end they came back with soluble paracetamol again. So at that point I just kind of said, look, forget it. Okay, let's just get everything finished and out of here. Now, they tested my urine and I didn't have an infection, and yet suddenly, just when I thought everything was done and I was finally going to be able to go, they came and put a cannula in. I thought, oh, maybe it's going to be for fluids or something. No, they gave me a bunch of antibiotics that I didn't actually actively need because I don't currently have an active infection. I guess preventatively, but it seems like, I don't know, it didn't seem like the right thing to do. So anyway, that all got done, and I got home on Saturday evening feeling pretty sorry for myself, and trying to figure out how to live with the catheter leg bag, which I haven't done before because the only time I've had an indwelling catheter before was while I was an inpatient in UCL the year before last when I was doing all my videos. I was inpatient for 3 weeks over the summer, and that was when my first real serious bladder issues cropped up and went into retention. That was the first time I was catheterized. So I haven't had to live with it at home before. All I do normally is the self-catheterization, and if you're interested in it, at some point I can do a little video just to show you what my catheter's like and how they work. Anyway, I managed to get on with it basically okay through Saturday and Sunday. Yesterday morning I phoned up my community matron hoping that they would come and take it out, because basically the only reason I needed it was the short-term pain problem that I was having as a result, I think, of what the hospital on Thursday had done. Different hospital to the one that I went to on Saturday. I eventually managed to get through to community matron, and they basically turned around and said, oh, we don't want to get involved because it was done by the hospital. We won't come and take it out. You've got to go back to the hospital for that. And at that point, I kind of just got really stressed out and started having a panic attack. And all the matron kept saying was, you've got to go back to the hospital, you've got to go back to the hospital. And my panic attack started getting worse quite quickly. So then she said, oh, well, you know, we can't help, but I tell you what, I'll get the mental health team to call you back. Like, that's going to solve all my problems. The only reason I was having the panic attack was because of the thought of going back to hospital to get the catheter dealt with. I don't need to speak to the mental health team at all, and I kind of felt a little bit insulted that almost like that they were trying to fob me off. Anyway, thankfully, because I am a bit of a hoarder when it comes to medical supplies, I'll show you sometime my first aid cabinet if you like. It's kind of hilarious. It's very well stocked, and I had a syringe that fitted the Foley catheter that was installed in me. So the way you go to remove this, and I am not advocating that anyone else do this themselves, just as a disclaimer, but basically it involves there's a balloon inside that stops the catheter from coming out, and when you inflate it the balloon full of saline, and so to remove it you obviously have to syringe out the saline to deflate the balloon so you can pull out the tube, which is what I did. And then the nurse called me back again in the afternoon, and different person this time, and kept saying, oh, do you want us to come around now? And it was so frustrating because what I needed was for them to come in the morning and help me then. And I said to them at the time, like, if you're not going to help me, I'm just going to take care of this myself. So they knew that that's what I was going to do. And it just felt like a complete waste of... I don't understand why I am able to access this service. It doesn't feel like a useful service to me, because if all they're going to do is say, we can't intervene with anything that a hospital has done, then I don't know what kind of support they can offer me, to be perfectly honest. So that's one problem that I have had to deal with this week. But since the Foley indwelling catheter came out, I have managed to go back to self-catheterizing successfully. So that's really good. And it's not as painful. It's basically not painful at all anymore. So that's also really good. That means that it was just a short-term problem caused by the hospital back on Thursday. Medical problem number 1 for this week. The next thing I've got to deal with, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. On Thursday, I'm due to see my gastro consultant, who I haven't seen since October. And if you follow my videos, I will post in a moment after this an update about all of the gastro stuff, because that's really long. I don't want to get into it on this video. But suffice to say that there is a bit of a complication with Thursday. I got sent an appointment letter for one time on Thursday, and then I got sent a letter with another appointment on Thursday at a second time. And when I saw the colorectal nurse a couple of weeks ago, I asked her to look up on the system, you know, if one had just kind of overwritten the other. And both of the appointments are still showing like I'm supposed to attend both of them, which I don't know if I am supposed to or not. I tried calling the secretary yesterday and left a message saying that I've got an urgent query. Big surprise, nobody has got back to me. So now I'm gonna have to spend some time calling in again and seeing if I can find out what the heck is going on Thursday, because the first appointment is at 1:50 and the next appointment is at 4:30. And if I don't want to really have to go to the hospital for 1:30 just in case I'm going to that appointment, because then that's a lot of time that I'm going to have to just hang around for until the other appointment at 4:30. So phone calls are going to be a big part of my day today. But I will also do an update on all of my gastro stuff. So if you hang on a bit, I will post another video shortly explaining everything that's happening there. And otherwise, I will see you another day. Take care.